is Dr. Margarita Tovar. I'm the Chief Talent Officer for the Colorado Department of Education, and I am joined today by Holyoke School District Superintendent Kyle Stumpf, who's been in the district for 15 years and 7 as superintendent. Thank you for joining me today, and I'm excited to discuss the great things happening in your school district.
Well, good morning, Dr. Tovar. Thank you very much for the invite, and I'm happy to be here today.
Awesome. Well, let's get started. Do you mind sharing what makes your school district and your community so special?
Just for a little bit of background, Holyoke is it's less than 2,500 people in the town. We're about 2 hours and 45 minutes from the capital, about 175 miles around the very northeast corner of the plains. We're about 10 miles from the Nebraska border, and we are a very proud farming and ranching community. But my community has taken a big interest in some of the work we're doing the last 7 years, because while they're very proud of our farming and ranching background, for Holyoke to be around another 100 years, we have to branch out away from farming and ranching and be able to find a way to bring young people back to our school or to our community, and hopefully use our school and some of the opportunities we give kids to maybe do that. So just really fortunate that we have a lot of support with our school district and a lot of support from our community. I'm very happy and pleased that we get to do some what we consider some very cutting edge things for rural Colorado, and start that right here in Holyoke.
Absolutely. And speaking of those cutting edge initiatives that you have, I was privileged to visit your school district last week. And we visited and we saw firsthand the impacts of the Holyoke Homegrown Talent Initiative, which was launched 7 years ago. Could you tell us more about how the initiative started, how it's evolved over the years, and how it shaped opportunities for students in your district?
Yeah, so about 7 years ago, one of my CT teachers was able to apply for a grant, a planning grant with Homegrown Talent Initiative that was sponsored through several partners around the state of Colorado, with 2 of the big ones being Colorado Education Institute and Colorado Succeeds. And they found some local, or not local, but providers to donate some money to help us try to look at what you do in rural communities to try to build your own, grow your own in a lot of different areas in the workforce. And so we had a year where we got to take individuals. We created a team of, we had high school students, we had teachers, we had business leaders in our community, we had partners from our junior college of Northeastern Junior College in Sterling, Colorado, a board member, administration, and we got to travel around the state and look at some exemplary school districts and what they were doing, such as Canyon City, St. Vrain, and be able to talk to people in their community and talk to leaders in their school district to see how they did similar work to benefit kids. And so we were able to take that. And then over the last, we had that grant, we got the planning grant, and then we got selected. There was 15 schools that were in the planning grant process, and they selected 7 schools to fund for 3 years. And over that 3 years, we started working on a graduate profile, which are competency skills that we believe that our kids will graduate with, as well as kind of a new look on our post-secondary workforce readiness and pathways of graduation, and looking at a lot of different opportunities. And we expanded and really took a turn for what we've always done, and really try to make it student focused and student centered by asking students what they wanted. And we created some really unique opportunities for kids with internships and some abilities for them to go out and try some different things in our local community. And we took that work and we created a graduate profile. We went from offering 3 concurrent enrollment college classes to where we're over 70 now. We're able to partner with other universities than just NJC in Sterling. We were able to take that work and really beef up what kids are getting exposure to. Those internships we found a lot of value in, whether that solidified what they wanted to do with their life, or that actually made them want to change and look at other opportunities. And so that work led us into an opportunity to work with our Northeast BOCES in Tamar Durbin at the Northeast BOCES, because we were an HCI school district. We could apply for the rural co-action funds. And so our Northeast BOCES took the work that Holyoke started with our graduate profile and some of our career pathways and our opportunities for kids with internships, and expanded that to the 11 other districts in our Northeast BOCES, and be able to expand what we were doing in Holyoke to a little bit bigger to surrounding communities within a couple of hours of Holyoke. And then that grant actually spurred off, and our BOCES able to apply for some Opportunity Now grant through the governor's office to extend that work and really focus on 5 very distinct pathways for post-secondary that our kids can have exposure to. And really that work has evolved in Northeast Colorado is in Holyoke, I don't have to have all 5 pathways in brick and mortar in my school district, that we can share kids across boundary lines and be able to take kids 20, 30 miles down the road. So I can focus on one area in my brick and mortar school and get really good at it. And then somebody else 20 or 30 miles down the road can focus on another area. Then we share kids back and forth. And so it's really expanded our opportunity and really giving a lot of our rural districts the opportunity to try to find ways to bring kids back to their local communities, whether it's with the trades like heating and air conditioning, plumbing, welding, things like that, or just taking some business skills that they can apply right after they graduate. And my district has been asking really good questions over the last 7 years, and they've kind of, the biggest one I would say has been, what is deemed success after high school? And that can look really different depending on what you want to do after high school. And we have kids that are going to be successful and go to Baylor and Texas A&M in Oklahoma, School of Mines in Golden, and School of Mines in Rapid City. But we also have kids that are just going to join the workforce right after they graduate high school. And so what are we doing to help make sure that they're employable and marketable and lifelong contributors to our community and our society?
Wow, that's so impactful. Thank you so much. And, being there, one of the most memorable moments was the student panel, and listening firsthand from the students about how they really honor the fact that your staff has been committed to their purpose and to helping them solidify their interests and really ensuring that they get exposed, whether that is to an internship at a bakery or an internship in the healthcare industry, or like you mentioned, the commercial driver's license program. And I was wondering, what does that tell us about the flexibility and adaptability about your career pathways that you have established?
Well, I think a couple of things that, excuse me, that really make a difference in Holyoke is we're almost small enough we can offer like an individual learning plan for every student, regardless if they're special needs or not. And because of that low number, we really get to know our kids well, and we can give them a lot of individual attention. I also think it contributes a lot of the fact that I have really good staff with really good leadership from counselors and principals that are very flexible in giving kids what they need, and really have kind of shifted that mold of what we've always done. We've always offered this because this is what I've always done, to what do the kids need and what are the kids asking for and what's going to make them more marketable for college or work after school. And I think really just kind of having that attitude of yes, yes, we can do that, and we will try that, and we'll make some adjustments and go. But I think a lot of it just has to do with kind of a perfect storm in our community, with a board that was wanting us to be much more aggressive and thinking outside the box. We have staff that really like the fact of being on cutting edge, and then our students having a voice and being able to talk about what they need and what they want. And then having that turn out to be kids being very successful in representing our district out in their community, and speaking very highly of things and really building that relationship with our community. But I think a lot of it is just a lot of open communication, a lot of back and forth with our local business partners about what do you need, and what does our community need, and looking at studies around Northeast Colorado about what are jobs and things that would be maybe an option for kids. Also starting them very young. We do interest surveys starting in kindergarten with the program use of Excello. And not that a kindergarten knows that they want to be a veterinarian when they grow up, but if we look at that over the course of 10 years, that could show some trends and some signs that may be something they're really into. And also there's just tapping into your local community and bringing in business owners and bringing in people that have different roles and duties and jobs in our community to kind of talk about what they do, and maybe giving kids exposure. I mean, they didn't even know what that job entailed or what that was out there. And in our local hospital, people think of nurses and doctors, but there's so much more with you have HR and PR, and you have X-ray technician, and you have blood work people, and there's grounds and maintenance, and just all sorts of business type of things, food prep, and things like that. So one place in Holyoke could really offer 15 or 20 different opportunities for kids to give a different exposure. And I think we just need to do a better job of giving those kids that exposure, because in our rural settings, they know a lot about farming and ranching and some of the jobs that support farming and ranching, but there's so much more that are offered out there.
That's right. And thank you for expanding on what small rural communities can do and districts can do to partner with businesses. And I was also mesmerized by how united your school board was, and then also the local business partners that you brought to share in the panel as well. So thank you for that. And as we're talking about challenging workforce needs, we know one of those areas is education and teaching. So can you share what you're doing in your school district to tap into your homegrown talent and potentially bring folks back into the teaching career?
Positive exposure is always good for our kids, and our biggest adversaries in our school system is our teachers. When they talk highly of a profession, then it transfers to kids being excited about it. We try to get our kids exposure, if they have any interest in becoming a teacher, to do some internship hours in our elementary or in a high school class, in not just grading papers or making copies, but really actually getting to work with kids and impact kids and listen to kids, and try to foster that as well as we can. And then we also partner with our local district down the road, the Haxton School District, what is actually doing a full-blown teacher prep program in early childhood, and it's a whole pathway. And so I think there's some opportunities for that, where they can go a little bit further. And then we really try to use we're no different than other small rural districts. We have a hard time recruiting people and getting them to stay. So we're looking at a lot of grow your own programs. We have paraprofessionals that are partnering with NJC and CU to become a licensed teacher, and we'll have 2 of them complete here in the next 6 months. We have teachers that have gone through the teacher record program, and then we have a lot of teachers that have gone through the alternative licensure program. So just showing that there's a lot of different ways and pathways that someone may obtain that teaching degree, but all of that just comes with exposure, and having kids in high school that if they're exposed and wanting to know more about preschool or elementary or upper elementary, that we get them in those opportunities where they can do an internship, whether it's an hour or 2 hours a day, just to kind of interact and see if that's something we want to get more involved in. And then always talking about, you could stay as a 5th-year senior and take some junior college classes and those type of things. And we're getting better at offering things with post-secondary. And in fact, last year we had our first student that graduated with their 2-year associate's degree before they graduated with their high school diploma. And this year we're on track to have another one as well. So there's a lot of opportunities for our kids to get a lot of those college classes and those prerequisites and things out of the way. And Morgan Community College is starting up another pathway for kids in education, and that's locally, a lot local than some other opportunities. And they may open a satellite office in Ray, which is only 35 miles away. So that could give our kids another exposure. But as much time we can get kids in the classroom working with kids hands-on, our high school kids working with their elementary kids. And we also find that's a great positive reaction when they see each other around campus, so they see each other at ball games around town, that they already have those built-in positive relationships.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for this conversation, for making time. You and your school district are a shining light and the example of how rural communities can really invest in their youth and their future. And lastly, I'd like to hear, what advice would you have for school districts that are looking to create their own grow your own programs such as yours?
I think a couple of things come to mind is the fact of, if you're waiting until it gets 100% ready to go, you're never going to get there. So I would encourage people to find, every school district in the state of Colorado has things that they're very proud of and things that they do very, very well. And so maybe focus on those to start with. and then see how you can partner with somebody else to expand. We are very fortunate, very blessed to have Canyon City, St. Vrain, have opened their doors to us to have I took my school board members to their districts. I've taken teachers to those districts. I've taken students to those districts. I've seen how Canyon City has expanded some of the work they've done in their districts with Florence and Cotopaxi and expanding out. So getting someplace to see where it's being done and seeing how you can maybe take one thing and try to implement it in your school district. And we're not perfect in Holyoke, and we have a lot of ways we can improve and get better. But our staff and our staff work for our students to give them the best opportunities they can to be successful. And I would say that that's the motto of every school district in the state of Colorado. That's what they're in the business of doing. And whether you're a major urban city school district or your smallest rural district, I think there's opportunities. And I think with technology, there's things to do virtually. And I think there's always opportunities to get kids exposure to future jobs and future post-secondary workforce experience. So just start somewhere and start small, build it with the people that want to do it and are excited about it, and then expand it out. And go see how it can be done and how other people can, how other people are striving to implement it. So
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much, Superintendent Stumpf, for your leadership.
thank you very much. It was very nice to talk to you this morning. Have a great day.
You too.